Say hello to Unky Herb. And say goodbye to Unky Herb. Hi, I'm Torin, and welcome to Torin Loves the Simpsons. Today we're looking at Season 2, Episode 15, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? An episode where Abe reveals that Homer has a half-brother, whom Homer tracks down, meets, and puts out of business. Let's dive on in. Starting with the humor, this episode is great. It is about the best I think is possible without any certified S-tier moments, because it certainly doesn't have any of those. But just overall, it's mostly a pretty steady stream of at least decent jokes and funny character moments. I particularly enjoy the scene with the orphanage director, who's extremely heavily implied to be a long-lost brother of Dr. Hibbert. There's no single moment of that scene that stands out, but the whole thing is still great, and that's a great analogy for the episode. It's all really enjoyable, even with few memorable jokes. This episode isn't the first mention of pork chops. I believe that honor goes to Itchy and Scratchy and Marge, but it's the first to really dive into Homer's obsession with them. And that angle provides a pretty good amount of material for the character moments that fill out this episode. Without any certified S-tier moments, though, I'm not sure how high of a rating I can give this episode's humor. The only previous episodes to achieve an S-tier humor rating had certified S-tier moments, and I don't feel this episode's steady stream of more moderately funny jokes is quite great enough to call for S-tier anyways. That's for episodes that are either groundbreaking or just the best of the best. But since I'm even contemplating the episode's S-tier potential at all, I think that's a sign this episode's humor gets an A+. It thoroughly accomplishes that which it sets out to do, which, in this plot-driven episode, is to support the plot and make sure it keeps the audience's interest even if they're only half paying attention or if they don't really care about the plot that much. When it comes to the plot, first I want to comment that I love Danny DeVito, who, for those not already aware, provided the voice of Herb. He's just fantastic and wonderful. Next, I want to comment that I love Danny DeVito's voice work, because before I was commenting on him as a person. At the very least, a few years after doing this episode, he and his wife Rhea were a huge pillar of support to Mara Wilson during production and post-production on the film Matilda, when Wilson's mother was dying of cancer. But yeah, no, time for me to talk about DeVito's actual voice work, because it's incredible. He really brings Herb to life. I particularly love the scene before the one where he meets Homer, when he's arguing with his company's executive board about the future of his company. And in addition to that scene being well written to establish Herb's emotional foundation as a character, DeVito turns in an excellent performance. The disdain in his voice over Persephone, the anger over hungry old Greek broads, the loneliness in his voice as he breaks down and wanders off. It's spectacular voice work. Not that his work throughout the rest of the episode isn't also great, but that particular scene really highlights how much DeVito brought to this episode. Homer goes through quite an emotional journey in this episode. First, I'm kind of surprised at how alarmed he is over Abe's health scare, considering how distant the two are most of the time. And then, of course, the shock of learning about Herb and the challenge of tracking him down was clearly a bit stressful for him. Then, after initially enjoying meeting Herb, he finds that things aren't so great at his new job when the engineers clearly don't respect him. It clearly hits him pretty hard when they ask him to fetch them some coffee. Herb does a great pep talk, though, but that newfound confidence only makes it that much more painful to fail as spectacularly as Homer did, especially when that failure is immediately followed by losing his new relationship with Herb when Herb disowns him. Like, damn. That's a pretty serious amount of emotional journey for a 22-minute TV episode. As for Herb's pep-talking skills, it's quite unfortunate that he invested that energy into an utter idiot, but the fact that he completely ignores his engineer's warnings about how badly things are going makes him unignorably culpable in his downfall. I love Herb as a character. I super respect him wanting to give a good opportunity to his brother, but when he loses everything, you can't say he didn't do it to himself. At the very end, I think Bart was truly the only one who could have saved Homer's feelings. Marge could have sugar-coated her words to Homer, but I don't think she would have been able to tell him she liked his car. But Bart clearly means it, and it totally makes sense that he'd think it's cool, what with him still being a kid and being open-minded. Bart and Homer certainly have a unique relationship, but at moments like this when we see them connect, they can actually be a bit heartwarming. Not on the same level as literally any other character duo in the Simpson household, not counting Maggie. Homer Lisa, Bart Lisa, and Bart Marge all have more emotional potential, but Homer Bart can hit their own kind of emotional notes, given the right circumstances such as these. I think this example of Homer and Bart as an emotional character duo blows the ending of Bart the Daredevil out of the water, because there's so much more relevance here. In Bart the Daredevil, it feels kinda shoehorned in as a way to get Homer onto the skateboard so he can accidentally attempt the jump. But here, the entire episode centers around family relationships, and Homer's confidence is a pretty major plot point towards the end. And again, with Bart being able to genuinely appreciate Homer's car design, the relevance lines up so much better here, and it all just makes so much more sense. It's time for a rating now. After not very much deliberation, but also a lot of overthinking at the same time somehow, I'm going with a solid S. This plot just has so much going for it, and I can't think of anywhere it falls flat. And now for the final rating. We have an A+ for humor and an S for plot, so that's an easy S- overall. This is a minor classic, for sure. I wouldn't expect to see it on anyone's top 10 favorite episodes of the entire show, but it's an episode I think every fan ought to be well familiar with. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my video, please hit that like button so the YouTube algorithm will like me. That's what the like means. It's telling YouTube what to think of me. And if you want to see more Simpsons episode reviews, make sure to subscribe and set that bell thingy to all so you maybe hopefully get notifications when I upload. And of course, comments are always encouraged. I love talking about The Simpsons, in case you haven't noticed. So I love hearing what other people think about the episodes. Next, we're looking at Bart's Dog Gets an F, so I'll see you in that video.